All right, Shalom. Shalom. Giving all praises, glory, and honors unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000, the rest of the hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, the priest, is I one from GMS Atlanta, back for another edifying video. And I want to try to make this quick. This here was brought to my attention by the Apostle Gabar. He mentioned it in the video he did last night. As a matter of fact, let me just pull that up just so you can know Apostle Gabar's page of GMS, Great Millstone, Daily Edification. Right, just put in GMS. Yep, Daily Edification 4. So I was watching, this video here last night where it says skit revealing Britain was first inhabited by so-called blacks. Digital ID comes, I believe it's two. You know what? Let me just click on it. Let me get the full title.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is his video here, and you can watch this and be edified. It's a very short video. Okay. Not even 7 minutes long, over 6.5 minutes long. So it says, skit revealing Britain was first inhabited by so-called blacks. Digital ID comes to Barbados. So I watched that, and I got the information, and then I looked it up. You know, when you watch these videos and you're learning from myself, you're learning from the apostles, you're learning from the other brothers. We do these videos to pretty much like a horse, leading the horse to water, you know. We lead you to the water, but we can't make you drink. You know, so we put this truth out there. We give you the information, but it's up to you to check us out. You know, check the information out that we're teaching on and look it up yourself. Okay? You know, it's like fishing. You know, we put the bait out there, which is this truth, and we're out to catch men, you know, the souls of men in righteousness, as Yahushua told his disciples. He shall make us fishers of men. You know, men and women, of course. So look this information up when you hear us speak on certain things that you may not know about. So that's what I did. I didn't know about this, about the digital ID coming to Barbados. I did know that they were setting it up in the Caribbean as a whole, and certain islands are setting up digital IDs, but I don't believe I've done any video mentioning Barbados. Okay, so the water to the apostle for that. Okay, so now I looked this up, and this is what I found. And this is from a global government fintech, and it says Barbados Instant Payment System, BIMPay, to transform payments from March 2026. And this came out in August 18th. So let me just read into this and give you some information. And like I said, look, listen, you watch the videos, all you got to do is go into Google, right? Type in the title to the article, right? Because you got to put in your own work in this thing. You got to do your own searching and finding, of this truth, man. You can't just be lazy, okay? You know, sometimes we'll give you the information, but, hey, sometimes we won't. So, look, you put this in the search bar. AI overview comes up, right? All this information comes up. Look, the article comes up. So look these things up, and you get all kind of information that you can go into to be edified for yourself. Okay? So they want to set this payment system up in the islands down here in the Caribbean, in particular Barbados, and they want to do this by March of next year. So, of course, this is a step closer to the MOTB microchip implant being pushed out there and then eventually mandated. And as I've always said, on my videos, on my channel, before they push out the implant, they have to set the system up first. Okay? Just like before, you could pay anything without cash, they had to set up the credit card system. Then the debit card system came, and then they put the chips in the cards, and then now they can have it to where you can pay with your smartphone, your digital wallet. So first the system is and I remember that because I had a job. Oh, this had to be 2010. I was in the truth then. 2009, 2010. At that point, yeah. And I had this job. I was in sales. And the big thing, especially during Obama's first term, was everything was going digital. They phased out auxiliary cable to digital cable pretty much. You can still use the cords and whatnot, auxiliary cords back of the television, but everything went digital pretty much. I forget the exact term for it. That's when you had the Obama phones was being given out so everyone could have a smartphone. So this is all a part of the agenda. And so what I was doing was I was in sales and I was going around to these different businesses and offering them the new payment terminals. The new card machines where you swipe your card, tap your card, and so forth. Yeah. So I was pretty much selling those. Okay. And that was a big thing back then because they were changing over to a new system, a new way that you can pay. So from the old swipe card machines where you can just swipe and type in the number to now you can swipe, tap, insert your chip. And that was back then. Okay. So now this is a new system that they're setting up, which is digital ID and digital wallet payments. And these governments are doing it. It's not just private corporations or private companies. This is the governments using this system and setting it up for their countries. So here it says the Central Bank of Barbados has announced details of an instant payment system named BimPay, intended to transform payments across the Caribbean island from March 2026. The IPS would allow individuals, businesses, and government to send and receive payments within 10 seconds on a 24/7, 365 basis. So that means at all times, with the recipient being able to access the funds immediately upon receipt, regardless of who they bank with or whether they bank with anyone at all. So they're making it easier, more convenient with this digital payment system that they're setting up around the world. It says Governor Dr. Kevin Greenidge and Deputy Governor Michelle Doyle joined representatives from the World Bank and Barbados Bankers Association. And this World Bank is set up by the elites, okay? Because they have their hands in all these countries around the world to set up this digital ID system and digital payment system. They work with WorldCoin, they work with Visa, and these other financial institutions to set this up. It says they joined representatives from the World Bank at Barbados and Barbados Bankers Association at an event to officially launch BIMPay last week, the 12th of August. The system will actually go live on March 31st of next year, 2026. So a step closer to the MOTB, and is here. Oh, look at this. All right, related article. South Sudan looks to launch a national instant payment system. See, it's everywhere. Everywhere, man. Everywhere is going digital. And this is from earlier this year, 2025, February 12th. So it says South Sudan looks to launch national instant payment system. How much more proof do you need? Okay. Now you got the IUIC. Now they're speaking on the digital ID. Adding that to the prophecy of the mark of the beast in Revelation 13:16, where they were staunchly against it, against digital and the chip and so forth. But now they're speaking on it because they have to play catch up because it's become undeniable. And the thing about it is, we here at GMS, we've told you this years in advance. We prophesied about this system coming years in advance. And we were getting scoffers and people were talking against us, gainsaying the word that we were saying, calling GMS a bunch of false prophets because of the year 2000 thing and mentioning the grape thing and then, using red herrings and stuff that they don't understand in order to make it seem like what we're talking about when it comes into prophecy is non-valid and null and void, and we're wrong. When everything that we said here at GMS is now coming to pass. So who's the real prophets? So who's been the false prophets? That's what you got to really look at. There was this guy that came up to the New York camp, the main camp, a few weeks ago when the brother was out there speaking, and he came by and told them that they was right. The GMS was right. The guys on 34th and 7th, all them years ago, I was looking. He said, man, y'all was right, man. Everything that y'all said is now coming to pass. So that's your proof right there. And I put the video up. It's on my channel. But the proof is in the pudding. This is a step closer to the MOTB. So let's read this. It says, the Bank of South Sudan is looking to launch a national instant payment system. The project is being undertaken in collaboration with the Africaninda Foundation, an organization funded by the who? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So who has their hand in this digital system that's going up, this payment system? Esau, man. Come on, man. You can't see? It says to help achieve universal African financial access by 2030. That's their goal. That's their goal. By 2030, they pretty much want the MOTB system in place. Remember what this guy RFK Jr. said a few months back, right, about healthcare. He said that all Americans will have to have a wearable for health by 2029. Okay? So ultimately what they want to do is they want to set up digital currency, have everyone have a digital ID, digital wallet, and they want to set up this biometric system, which is going to lead to people getting the implant under their skin, right? As the prophecy says, in their hand or in their forehead. Okay? It says, I'm going to read a little bit more. It says, an organization funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to help achieve universal African financial access by 2030. And is a pivotal milestone in the modernization of South Sudan's, with the Sudanese, those are the real Egyptians. Okay? Those are the real Egyptians. They got pushed out of Egypt and they got pushed down to what's known as Sudan. And then because of wars, civil wars, you had North Sudan, South Sudan. Okay? And that was after Esau came up into the continent. So these Egyptians, Mizraim, all right, the people of Mizraim are the Sudanese and some of those other surrounding tribes. Those are the ancient Egyptians. Super tall, super dark, okay? Even some of the tribal customs are the same. That's another topic, okay? So it says, it is a pivotal milestone in the modernization of South Sudan's financial and payment infrastructure. Like I said, they have to set up the infrastructure before they can actually introduce the implant. Okay? And it's here. It's here. Okay? And yet people have been using it, but they've been using it privately, you know, on their own. But the thing about it is, remember the prophets. You know what? Let me get it. Well, let me finish this out. So it says, advancing the bank's commitment to providing enhanced financial services for all citizens, BOSS, which is the Bank of South Sudan, said in its announcement. So let me get the prophecy. Let me get Revelation 13. Right? They want all citizens to get it. Okay? All citizens. So this is Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls it all. Right? Hold on. Let me go up. All right. Well, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. The image of the beast is this Roman system, this modern Roman system, which is NATO in America. Okay? That's the beast. And then you got the woman in Revelation, the whore that rideth upon the beast, and scarlet, that's America. America's the woman that's on the beast, which is NATO, which America's a part of. So these government systems are setting up a new image, a digital, you know, I call it the digital Rome, right? A digital Roman system, because it's still Rome, it's still the reincarnation of Rome, but they want to tie everyone into this digitization, modernization, and digitalization of the world, where they can have everyone around the planet under their control. Okay? And if you don't comply, if you don't worship, if you don't comply, do your obedience, obey in the system, then you'll be looked at as an enemy and they'll put you to death. That's why when you read in Revelation the 20th chapter, I'm not going to get it, but it says that those that don't take the mark of the beast will be beheaded. Okay? So what is this beast going to do? Remember, the beast represent these governments. All right, this system. So what is these government systems going to do? What is the beast going to do? Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And it's a reason why it says in and not on. See, these other English translations, they try to disrupt the prophecies by putting on. No, it says in. In, meaning inside. There's a reason why it's in. When you mark in something, okay, you're cutting into it, right? The Greek word for mark is the Greek word charagma, all right? And charagma means to cut in or engrave in. And that's what they want to do. They want to cut into your flesh and implant a device in your right or left hand or in your brain, right? And that's what is being developed right now. The system that will allow, because the technology is here. But here's the key thing. When you read verse 17, this is why they're going to cause you to get that mark. Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, right? Meaning what? Participate in the economy. Participate in commerce, buying, selling, because you can't buy if you don't work. And what did this guy, Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, say last week? All right, these immigrants, all right, that's coming into the country, because that's the proper context of it, but that's going to extend to all Brits as well. You will need the digital ID for work. And when you work, right, you get paid. But you're not going to get paid no checks. That's why as of October 1st, the federal government is not sending out any more checks. IRS, those that work in the office, everything is going digital. No more checks. So you have to get paid by direct deposit, okay, in digital means. So that's phasing out these paper documents that everyone needs. That's why they're pushing so hard for these MDLs here in America, and digital wallets, Apple Wallet, digital passports. I did the video on that the other day, yesterday I believe. Mobile driver's licenses. That's the digital ID. So you're going to need it for what? Buying and selling. And that no man might buy or sell. So it is, and it mentioned about businesses. If you want to set up a business, you're going to have to be a part of this digital system. Everyone. Now, does that mean that the digital ID is the mark? No. If they go digital ID, we're all going to have to be a part of it anyway. The mark is the implant. Okay? Once again, disclaimer, the digital ID, and I might have to do a separate video on that. The digital ID is not the mark. The implant, the chip, the device that goes under the skin, that's the mark. That's what you don't take. That's why it's so specific. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So if you take the implant, then that's the mark of the beast. If you're just a part of the digital system, ID system, then hey, you're just a part of the system. Which technically we're all a part of the digital ID system anyway. It's just about getting everyone tied into it. But they're setting up things gradually here and there. You know, you got your Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, all that's digital wallet. You buy these smartphones, they all got digital wallets. They all got this where you can add your driver's license to your phones. So things are surely being phased out, and things are slowly but surely, but also quickly being phased in. And I'll say a lot has happened just within these last few months, just coming in 2025. So with this article, you know, looking at this with Barbados, they wanted to set up by 2026. And then here in Sudan, their system, they wanted to set up by 2030. But, you know, it could be fast-tracked, okay? Remember, Yahweh Bashmi Yahweh Shai is going to speed up the time. And Esau has a short time. He has an agenda for 2030. But the Lord, all right, is going to put it in the heart of these nations to fulfill his will. And he said he's going to speed the time up for when this mark is going to be implemented and when the system is going to go down. Because once they introduce the mark, once the implant is out there and everyone has to mandatorily take it, then this system is going to fall quick. And then the nuclear destruction will take place simultaneous with the deliverance of the elect of Israel. So we're close. We are close. Okay? So that's it, you know, dealing with Barbados, Sudan, South Sudan. Okay, look at them. Right? They look like Edomites. Okay, because Esau has the influence of the whole planet Earth. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, they're not in their traditional garb. Now, they could be Jake. They could, a lot of our people are scattered in Africa still, among the dark nations. So these could be Israelites or they could be Hamites. Okay? You got a lot of Israelites in South Sudan. Remember, our people were in Egypt. We're always going into Egypt, even after the time of Moses. So they could be Israelites. But guess what? Their government, all right, them and their government is in bed with Esau. And China is up in there. And Russia's up in Africa. And Japan's up in Africa. Doing deals and certain things with these countries. Okay? Let's see, this here. So this is pretty much the same thing. Okay, let me read this. Okay, right, Africa. All right, so this is from June 30th, 2025, 6/30/2025. Africa launches first Pan-African card scheme, the PAPS card. Okay, and all these different representatives of these African countries. All right. African and Caribbean leaders during the launch of PAPS card, the continent's first Pan-African card scheme in Abuja, Nigeria. So this is an agenda. It's a plan. It's a scheme. All right. Set up for the dark nations here in the Caribbean amongst Jake, Nigeria. Those are Israelites still over there. You got Hamites too, in Africa. All right. So this says Abuja, Nigeria, 30th of June, 2025. Africa has marked a significant step towards financial independence following the launch of PAPS card, the continent's first Pan-African card scheme. See, this is how Esau is able to heap to himself all nations by set up an alliance or some kind of system or some kind of organization that links everybody together that he controls. All right, now back up the second chapter. It says, unveiled on June 27th at the 32nd Afrexim Bank annual meetings in Abuja, Nigeria, the new card represents a major leap in Africa's efforts to achieve financial sovereignty by building resilient and independent payment systems, easing people travel, and boosting trade integration. And best believe that Esau has his hand in this. Regardless of what they're calling it, sovereign and independent, they're all gonna have to use Esau's digital ID system. Okay? Digital system at the end of the day. Okay? And I just looked it up. This is the actual official website, paps.com, with 2 S's. Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. Connecting payments, accelerating Africa's trade. Because the reason why countries like Africa is going from their more traditional culture to modernization, digitalization, doing trade deals and so forth, is because of the influence of Esau and his control ultimately. Which these leaders will be rich, these countries will be rich, but they're going to be rich how? By dealing with Esau. Okay? By dealing with the so-called white man. That's what I mean by Esau. Just so you know. All right? The so-called white man is in control of the earth right now. Transforming how payments are made across borders in Africa. And that's their thing. Okay? Pan-African payments, instant payments, simplified payments, So we're a step closer to Revelation 13 and 16 coming to pass. We're in the time of a major prophecy coming to pass. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things are being manifested in these last days. And it's just a matter of time before the chip is mandated, and people got to get that mark. So this is why we tell you Israelites, man, start listening to GMS. Don't listen to these other groups. They have a lot of the truth. They have some truth, right? But we teach the laws and we teach Israel too. But we're going to give you the more relevant information pertinent to the times we're living in. We're not going to do rap videos and march in the street corners and pass out turkey sandwiches and Lay's potato chips to the people. No, that's not our job. We're the prophets. Our job is to speak the word of the Lord and go home. That's what Ezra did. Ezra spoke in the daytime, and then nighttime he went home. All right? But even then he was speaking. And we do these videos. We do these videos in the daytime, do the videos at nighttime. The word is constantly going out. We're standing upon our watch, man. Watching. All right? We're your spiritual weathermen, your spiritual news reporters. Right? If the Israelites had a national news network, if there was a HINN, not CNN, but HINN, if there was a Hebrew Israelite National News Network, GMS would be the top analysts, the top contributors, the top financial analysts, coordinators, speaking across the nation. It'll be great millstone because we're the watchmen on the watchtower. So you've been warned and you've been made aware, and the scriptures have been brought out. We're living in the time of these prophecies coming to pass. We're close, so close to getting up out of here, man. We just got to go through the trouble to come. Okay? Yeah, Jacob's trouble is brewing up. Right? We're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. A lot of things are happening. They're deporting the Northern Kingdom tribe, the so-called Hispanics. They're in Chicago right now. They say they're snatching up Jake out of Chicago, the Southern Kingdom now. That's a whole nother topic, but that's another prophecy that's coming to pass. Jacob's trouble, which is Esau's trouble, which is the whole world's trouble. Things are going to get crazy out here, but we have the faith of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to get us through. Okay? But with that, I'm going to end it here. Hope this lesson was edifying. Watch, look, study, look these things up. Pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Repent, atone, remain faithful and diligent, and we'll soon see Shiloh come. With that, I'll say Shalom.